Hey, welcome back everybody. John here at Havoc Maker Studio and FMP War Gamers. So as promised, I do got a second video up. I did take the time to read over the impending, I guess impending is the word, the upcoming possible release of a new Ultimate Encounter kit that takes on, where the players, that's you and at least one other player, possibly, I've talked about this before, the Ultimate Encounters, even though you're taking on usually two rosters of around 15 to 17 threat. I think it's acceptable to even break that up into um, those characters up and go, okay, we got a third person that's playing, or even a fourth person. It's like, all right, you take these two characters, or these three characters, you take these three, you take these two, whatever. You kind of break that up. I think there's some wiggle room there, and I know there's probably some diehards out there like, no, it just doesn't work that way. You know what? Maybe for your game it's okay, but for everybody else, we'll just do our own thing. There's nothing wrong with including a third person, especially with this threat 17. It's around 5 characters a piece, and you could easily go, you know what? We're still only going to have our 3 or our 5 team tactics cards, but amongst the three of us, we have um, we have 10 characters, so we can go 3, 3, and a 4. You guys can do what you want. It's your gosh darn game, okay? Maybe if you go to a store, like there's a couple stores I can think of off the top of my head where there's some pretty stickly guys for this is the way it's done. We got to do it this way. Blah 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 blah. Hot takes this, hot takes that. I get it, totally get it. Your store, your event, run it your way. But for everybody else, just do what you want, man. All right, but we're gonna talk about Colossus as Juggernaut. And I know some people are like, what? That doesn't sound right. They're like rivals slash enemies, frenemies. I think it was back in early 2010s. Let's just say 2010-ish, give or take a year or two. There was an event that was Marvel wide, basically, called Fear Itself, and a whole bunch of Marvel characters were imbued with the power of a variety, if I remember correctly, a variety of Asgardian gods. In particular, Juggernaut, King Marco, one of my favorite characters out there, was imbued with the power of Cul, C-U-L, and I'm sure there's a Norse, Norwegian, or Swedish, whatever way of pronouncing it, but I'm just going to say Cul, the serpent god of fear. And normally, Juggernaut is empowered by Cyttorak, the unstoppable god of destruction or whatever. And so he was just whooping ass as this new avatar for Cul. And so Magic and Colossus went and tattletale to the god Cyttorak, like, hey, look, your boy over here is doing some naughty stuff with he's not using your power. And so Cyttorak, of course, is like, whoa, no, he's like my ultimate avatar here. I need him to do his thing. So he was going to imbue Magic with the power of Cyttorak, so she'd be the unstoppable Juggernaut, whatever. But Colossus stepped in the way because, as I said before in the previous video, Syscon all up in there. He had to protect Ileana. He took on the power of Juggernaut, so so he's Colossus with that basically unbreakable skin with the power of Juggernaut, and he proceeded to whoop the crap out of Juggernaut, brought him back to his senses and all that. And Cyttorak was like, dude, I'm going to leave you in charge of my power. You're the new Juggernaut. Some other stuff would happen. Like 5 mutants would get the power of the Phoenix, being with Juggernaut or Colossus being one of them. Souped up, super powerful. I mean, he was kicking the crap out of Hulk, the Red Hulk, Thor, all the big names where he didn't necessarily would stand a chance to and normally. And it got to a point they're like, okay, so we got the Phoenix version of Magic and Phoenix version of Colossus. This is just all these mutants running around with the Phoenix power. This is bad news. So Spider-Man, being Spider-Man, tricks him and Magic. They lose the Phoenix power, and Magic turns around. It's like, oh, you know what? I'm going to free you from Cyttorak. And so he became Colossus again. Juggernaut eventually goes through his whole trial to get his powers back. long story short, that's essentially how he got it. Now, I encourage you, just like this image here, and even some of the images I use on thumbnails, they're all from Marvel Comics. They're not mine. I encourage you to use their Marvel Online app or go out and buy the comics yourselves to get a little bit more of detailed backgrounds. Now, what this is all about is the upcoming, what do you call it? The Unstoppable Avatar of Cyttorak's Ultimate Encounter that's going to be coming out that we just got wind of. Don't have a 100% release date yet, but we know it's coming. Unless this is a very clever fake. Could be, but all the evidence points to, no, this is legit. And my guess is, I'm still on the fence if there's going to be a miniature or not. Usually now these do come with miniatures, but you never know. But it would definitely be pretty awesome. I'm going to guess maybe Q3, since we're just now hearing about it. Maybe Q3, end of Q2, going into Q3. That's my speculation. I have no other inside information on that. So let's get into this. And I've managed to read it, and I've got some blown up images here. So let's check it out as soon as I click the button here. So, all right, Unstoppable Colossus. This is his Ultimate Encounter card. Once again, I don't know if there'll be a miniature attached to it or not. If there is, baller. All right, so you're going to take a look at him, and you're going to be like, oh my God, he is beat stick. So looking at the bottom here, we see that he has 90 health. Random movement, we'll get into that with the game card and everything. Size 3, that makes sense. His threat level is Ultimate Encounter, so there's no point value. He's got currently, and I'll stress this right now, currently 4 defense for physical, energy, and the Mystic. That is going to change. Now he has his first innate abilities. He's an encounter character, which isn't nothing. It just means that you're only going to use him for the ultimate encounter. Unless you want to, maybe if there is a miniature and you want to swap him out for Juggernaut to count as, I can't see anybody going, no, you can't do that. If they are, then you probably don't want to play with people that are going to be like that. Just a suggestion. Up to you if you want to play with them. So immunity, also special conditions. All special conditions. So don't even worry about your special conditions, ladies and gentlemen. So getting back over, and I already went through a little bit of this in my previous video. Check that out because it also has release dates for upcoming products. And as in that video and every video, hit that subscribe button down at the bottom. So that's only if it's a red subscribe button. That means you haven't subscribed yet. And it really does help out the channel and for my upcoming giveaways for Marvel Crisis Protocol. Hint, hint. So, and also more people, more prizes. So, his first attack, Bare Metal Hands. Range 2, 8 dice. Ooh. And 0 power cost. If this attack deals damage, after it's resolved, the character may throw the target character away range S. Pretty good. Basically, you're just backhand him, shooing him away. If the momentum tracker, and we're going to show this later, is at 7 or higher, the range of this attack becomes area 2. Very scary. Very scary. The next one is Hurl Debris. It's range 5, which is incredible, at 8 dice. Holy crap. And 0 power cost. If this attack deals damage, add 1 momentum to the momentum tracker. Once again, we're going to get into that. The Helmet of Cyttorak, and this is what protects them from mental influences and all that kind of stuff. That's why you're always trying to get it off of Juggernaut so you can hit double whammy him with some psychic nonsense. So the Helmet, this character is an innate ability. This character cannot be moved by crisis team effects. Additionally, add dice to this character's defense and dodge rolls equal to the amount specified on the momentum tracker. He is going to be very difficult to beat, and you're going to be like, how do we beat him? But we're not done yet. His next innate ability, or his last one, is Organic Steel, and this is his Colossus' natural body. When this character would suffer damage from an enemy effect, reduce the amount suffered by 1 to a minimum of 1. Okay, that's too bad, right? Then, after the effect is resolved, remove all the damage from this character. I'm sorry, what did you say? How are we supposed to hurt this guy? well, or how are we supposed to win against them? I got you covered, guys. We're going to get into that real quick here. First, let's take a look at the rules. So I'm not going to go through all these. Hopefully you can read it, screenshot this, or just pause it and zoom back in after I go through most of it. So you are going to have two teams, threat level 17, and a number of team tactic cards listed for that difficulty level, which I believe is 5 cards. It could be 3, but I think it's 5. So cosmic threat, special rules. You can interact, place a disruption beam token on the Cerebro Tower, and we're going to get into that, pointing towards another Cerebro Tower. Now, when 2 Cerebro Towers have a disruption token pointing at each other, they are linked and can slow the unstoppable Colossus by reducing his momentum. Now, let's talk about momentum. There's 2 ways right now to gain momentum. He gets it for after each time he rampages. More into that in a moment. If one or more terrain features of size 2 or greater were destroyed during that rampage, and then if he managed to daze or KO a crisis team member, which is going to be pretty easy, trust me on this. So, but he loses 3 momentum each time he crosses or overlaps a disruption beam, and he loses 1 momentum each time he suffers damage. That's very important. So remember that. All right. So when the Unstoppable Colossus momentum drops to 0, you're going to add a subdue token. And then you remove all damage and effects from him, and then he rampages, and you go to the rampage. But during the rampage phase, he always uses this short-range movement tool. You'll see that in the chart in a little bit. And then after he's done getting all poopy pants and rampaging, throw a tantrum, he goes, increases the momentum to 9. The momentum tracker to 9. Now, remember, this is a cooperative game, guys. This is cooperative. So you should be ideally 199% working together, because that's the only way you're going to win the game. Unless you really don't like your ally and you just want to just be a jerk and screw him over. But I highly recommend you work together. So Rampage, let's take a look at the special rules. He's on the rampage throughout the city. Whenever he rampages, there's a Rampage Chart. We'll show you that here in a moment. He does not stop if he contacts an interactive terrain feature when he does his movement. And his movement is equal to the momentum tracker. All right. And just for reference, the Unstoppable Colossus is an AI character. There are guidelines on which direction he moves and all that stuff, but how he attacks is up to the players to decide. So you will always, though, if there's multiple choices, you will always choose whatever outcome is worst for the player. So if you got 2 characters that are in range of his attack, whoever's been wounded or dazed, you're going to go for them first. That's just an example. Just an example. So, coming back to the rampage, whenever he rampages towards whatever the current priority Cerebro Tower, push the Unstoppable Colossus towards that tower using the movement tools in regards to whatever his momentum tracker says. We'll show that in a minute. And once again, he destroys any terrain he comes into contact with. So here's the layout. There's going to be 6 of these Cerebro Towers. And just like any other game, you got 6 turns to do this. So he starts in the center, and then he's got the 6 6 towers that he's got to destroy, and you've got to stop him before he gets all of them. Because if he gets to all of them, game over. And you can see you got your deployment zones in the different corners. So if he comes into contact with one or more characters during a push, all contacted characters suffer the damage shown on the momentum tracker. The Unstoppable Colossus does not stop due to contacting other characters. However, if he does stop on top of one, you just move him back to where he just barely was going to come into contact with them. It's very simple. You don't put him on top of it. You don't ruin your miniatures paint job and all that stuff. Now, once he comes into contact with a tower, and this is what he's trying to destroy, the tower is immediately destroyed and he stops moving. You remove the randomizer. We'll get to that in a second. There's a token that's on the tracker, and flip the next token on the tracker to see what his momentum is going to be, or where he moves up on the tracker. All right, so then you got this Rampage chart, which is really good. It just shows you the variety of attacks that he will do. And just because he rolls a failure doesn't mean it's a bad thing for him. Failure is actually quite devastating. So you can see there on the chart the variety of things. So I'm not going to go through all of them because I want to keep this video a little bit shorter. So now, ending the encounter, if he destroys all the towers, the city is lost and the Crisis team loses the game. Wah, wah. Evacuation. If the Crisis team subdues him a number of times specified by the difficulty level, the Crisis team wins the game. So you've got to drop him below, or drop him down to 0 momentum to get the subdue tokens. And you've already seen how hard it is to slow him down. So keep that in mind. This is going to be a back and forth. I'm predicting right now the game's probably going to be decided around turn 4 or 5. I can see turn 4 or 5, probably turn 5. All right, so here's just a real quick look at the tokens. I should mention that in my other video, I mentioned that this are screenshots somebody sent to me from another YouTuber. I don't know who the YouTuber is. The first picture that I showed, I'll go back to that before we bounce out. I don't know who he is, but if you guys do, please put it in the comments. I will most certainly give him 100% full credit. I'm already giving credit to Mark for finding this for me and passing it on. And I want to make sure that you guys get a subscribe out to that other guy if you're not already. So we got the tokens there on the left. The Cerebro Towers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the different momentum, or the beam, disruption beams as those arrows, and then the randomizer at the bottom there, though, on the left-hand side. Those little red tokens on the back side, they're numbered, I'm guessing 1 through 6. It could be 2 through 6. There could be a variety of like dual numbers, like 3, 4, whatever. And those are going to go on the chart on the right. I'm going to just bounce over to a much closer one so you can see what the momentum tracker is and the randomizer token. So at the bottom, you got the randomizer token, and as he destroys a tower, and you can see that there's 6 there, just like he's trying to destroy all 6. So those randomizer tokens are flipped over. You remove one after he destroys a tower, and you go to the next one, flip it over, and it tells you what his momentum is. So starting at the bottom here, in the center of the card here, you can see the big circles numbered 0 through 12. That is his momentum tracker. And depending on if he's getting any points for damaging people or terrain, or whatever his randomizer token is saying, you're going to move that along the lines. Now remember, after he is subdued, it all gets dropped back. He gets put to a 9. So probably he's not going to start out with a 9, but once you get that, each time you do the subdue token, he rampages, gets all pissy pants, and you go back to 9. Now you can see on the far right hand here, I know it's a little hard to see because of the glare from the screenshot, but that first column, those double boxes on top of each other, the top one is the damage that he does, and the bottom one is movement. So at the very bottom of that column, it's 1 damage, it looks like, and short range movement, all the way up to, if I'm reading this right, it's hard to see, it looks like 4 damage and the long range movement. That's pretty significant. And then those boxes out to the side of that, on the far right edge, is physical, energy, and mystic defenses. These are the bonuses that he's going to get. So the more momentum he has, the more difficult it gets. And it looks like it starts at like +0, +0, and then it might be adding up to 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not sure. Like I said, it's very difficult to see. And if you know otherwise, cool, let me know. So that's. I think this is still doable. It's going to definitely be difficult, especially when you're only dealing with a threat level 17. I'm already trying to think of a variety of like what's going to be the best option for movement, for avoiding stuff. I think there's definitely some good teams out there, and there's a lot of people here who are like, no, there's no point in taking this guy. But yeah, you're going to need a mix of high defense, I think high defense and a lot of avoidance abilities and extra movement abilities, because you're going to want to get around the board and get those beams activated as quick as possible. So that's just something to think about, and it's almost because looking at, let me go back to this, looking at the, basically it's like I don't know, it's like a chessboard or something in a way, because you're going to have to figure out which way you want those beams to go, what's the best direction for all those beams, so you can get some interesting crossovers. And basically, no matter which direction he's going to go, you're going to catch him with a beam, and that's what you're going to want to do, obviously, because you want to subdue him. You want to drop that momentum down. So pushing out a lot of damage, or just enough damage, and getting those beams up is what's going to be best. So here's that image at the beginning here. I wanted to show that off because I wanted to at least point out this is the dude down in the bottom right hand corner, not the amazing chibi from Ari's Nova art, but the gentleman that's right next to my chibi. He's the gentleman that had this on, I'm guessing, on his YouTube video. Don't know who he is. Please give me that information. I want to make sure, like I said, he gets credit, and I want to get him some subscribers, extra subscribers, and maybe even borrow a couple of his subscribers. Anyways, so that is it for this Ultimate Encounter. I think it's going to be really cool, especially if it comes with a miniature. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a big fan of Colossus, Mr. Siscon himself, but I'm a fan of Juggernaut, and he kind of got the power of the Juggernaut, and this would be a really cool model. But if I've got to buy another Juggernaut, or maybe even 3D print one, which I have no problem doing, we'll get a 3D printed one and paint him up. If I can't find a Colossus Juggernaut conversion thing, paint him up as that and go from there. Anyways, look forward to that in the near future. As soon as I get some more information on it, on release date and prices and all that stuff, I will most certainly let you know. This will probably be the last video for the weekend, so please share this out and hit me up with that subscribe button. Definitely helps. We do have some prize support coming very soon, or not prize support, giveaways, that if you're a subscriber, and make sure if you're a subscriber that you are not blocking email access, right? Because if I can't see your email, you got it hidden somehow, then when it comes time to me to randomly draw from my subscribers on Twitch or on Instagram or here on YouTube, I can't get you stuff if I don't know who you are. So, and that happened last time where there was about 50 people that I was not able to include in that, which is so gosh darn hard to do. Anyways, you guys have yourself a wonderful weekend. Make sure you share this out, and I'll chat with you later. See ya.